All right, welcome to the debut episode of the Rocky 12 podcast. My name's Matt, and this is
Jay.
And we're working together. He's my nephew, and he is a football genius, even though he's only 10 years old, about to be 11. This guy knows his stuff.
Yep.
So we're excited to share his knowledge, and I'm a former sports writer for the Daily Utah Chronicle, and do a little bit of work still for Ute Nation. So, Jameson, why did we decide to call this the Rocky 12 podcast?
Because we're doing it on the Mountain West and the Big 12 mostly.
Yeah. So mixing the two, and we decided the Rocky 12, the Rocky Mountains. We're getting Mountain West in there, going all the way across with the Big 12. So we're going to test your knowledge. We got to show people why I call you the boy genius when it comes to sports. So something that his mom started a while ago is she would just ask him a random college and he'd be able to tell you the mascot. So we're just going to throw a few out there for you. So let's go with Vanderbilt.
The Commodores.
Nice. How about Temple?
The Owls.
All right, I got to find a harder one for you. How about Liberty?
The Flames.
See what I'm saying? This guy. How about Miami, but not Florida? Miami of Ohio.
Ooh,
Did I find a one to stump you?
I think it's. Oh, I can't think right now. Okay.
Starts with a red.
I have no idea.
Red Hawks. I can't believe it. I got you. I got you.
I was thinking like the Warhawks or something.
Yeah, you were close. So, hey, you know what? I bet you would have got it if you weren't filming right now. Let's see. How about James Madison?
The Dukes.
Yes. Wow. How about Purdue?
The Boilermakers.
The Boilermakers. You're right. All right. One more hard one, and then we'll get going here. Texas State.
The Bobcats.
And you know your stuff. Seriously, it's impressive. So, yeah, let's get right to it. Let's talk about the rankings that you have for the Mountain West.
Okay.
Let's go just from the very beginning to the end. Why don't you walk us through why you have the teams ranked the way you do?
Okay, so for my number one team, I picked Boise State going 11-1 because I think that they're a really good team. Even though they're lost Ashton Jeanty, I still think they will do really good because they still have their old running back, and they also have a really good QB, and they have a great offensive lineman, so he won't get sacked. So then he can throw bombs, and their wide receivers are really good too. So I think that they should do really well, and most of their games are not that hard. Their only hard game, in my opinion, is against Notre Dame, which I think they will probably win, but I think it will be close. But other than that, I think their whole team should do really good this year and definitely go to a bowl game, maybe even the championships. And then their defense is pretty good, so they can win games by if the teams have a better offense and they're good. So yeah, that's why I put them 11-1 because I think they're going to do really well.
So that one loss you think going to come against Notre Dame?
Yeah.
You know, I'm really looking forward to that game. And something that I'm really looking forward to with Boise State is to see how good will Maddox Madsen, their quarterback, how good will he be without Ashton Jeanty? But like you were saying, I mean, if they've got a good running back still waiting behind, who knows? Maybe it'll be the same kind of thing.
Yeah, he was the number 3 rusher last year. So I'm pretty sure he got injured, which is why he didn't really play that much.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He did.
This year he should do really well.
Awesome. Well, tell me about San Jose State, 11-1. That's a pretty that's pretty good for San Jose State. I think San Jose State fans will be happy to see that.
Yeah, definitely. So I was looking through, and they have pretty good QB who came. I think he's been there for a while, but they're saying he should do really well this year. And then also the team's running game is pretty good because they have a lot of returning starters on that. They have a lot of returning running backs on the team, and then their their receiving game is also looking pretty well because they got a good transfer guy, and also their schedule isn't too hard. I think I only had them losing to what was it? He's Texas. They're losing to Texas. That's all.
Oh yeah, that game's.
And then they don't play Boise State this season, so that's a plus for them. And then they also don't. And then they also don't play like some of the other better teams. They have some games against the not as good teams, which I think really helps. And then they have some pretty easy not non-conference games, which should help a lot. So that's why I put them 11-1.
Yeah, I look at their schedule. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, yeah, they have that road game against Texas, which actually be kind of fun to see, just to see how good are they really. But their chances of winning that game are pretty low. But you look at the rest, like you said, Central Michigan, Idaho as their other non-conference, and then Stanford.
Stanford is not that hard.
No, I'm looking at all the rest of these teams: New Mexico, Wyoming, Utah State. Maybe Hawaii and Air Force will be their biggest tests, but those are both at home. So
yeah, Hawaii could be but I think I gave them the win because they have home advantage.
Yeah.
So that should be good.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they're going to do that good this year.
Schedule makes a big difference though, and they got the new coach Neo Matalolo. Did I say that right?
Yeah, I think so.
The Navy's former coach, and they're really trending upward now. So I like what I see there too. Mm-hmm. So how about UNLV?
So for UNLV, I think they have a really good quarterback on their team. He's pretty good. He played at Virginia last year. But the one problem, they did lose QB, wide receiver. They lost a pretty good QB, I think, because he left college football, and then they lost a really good wide receiver to the transfer portal, which will really hurt.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, but they have a really good running back because they have a really good running game, and they have a good running back from last year that they kept, so their running game should be really good, and their receivers are pretty decent. And then I think I only had them losing to Boise State because they had to play them, and then I think I had them in a loss against UCLA because they have a really good QB this year. And then and then the other team I think was against Colorado State or Hawaii because they're looking really good this year. But yeah, they have good receivers, good offensive line too. So I think they should be doing pretty well this year. But the one problem, they do have a new QB. I mean, not a QB. They have a new QB, but they also have a new coach. So that could either be good or bad. It just depends.
Yeah, it's always hard to switch coaches, especially when you do lose so many starters. I think I was looking at it, and I think UNLV.
We only have 3 returning offense, 2 returning defense. So it's a whole new team.
So they're really depending on the transfer portal. And, I mean, that's pretty much the case for all Mountain West teams. It's really sad, in my opinion, how these teams just get plundered. Yeah, all the good players get taken.
State. Every other team is just losing everyone.
Yeah, especially quarterbacks. Yeah. All right, I'm excited to hear about this one because I've got Colorado State at 4-8, and you've got them here at 8-4. So why don't you tell me a bit about that? I'm excited to hear about this.
Okay, so for them, they have a really, really good QB who did really good last year too. So I think that's really good. And then they also have a decent running back on their team that they have. Then their schedule isn't too hard. I have them losing to Boise State, UNLV, Washington, and Washington State. But other than that, I think they will win most of the games. And then they have good wide receivers. I mean, they didn't really have a lot of returning guys, but the transfer portal did get some pretty good guys on their offense and defense, which I think will help. But it will be kind of hard to, I don't know. It's kind of like they'll either do really good or really bad, I think. But I think they will do pretty good.
Yeah, it's always hard to tell when they have so many transfers. This one, again, a lot like UNLV, only 6 total returning starters between offense and defense, especially on the defense. I was looking at this, not a single linebacker returning from last year, not a single secondary member, so starter anyway. So, yep, definitely going to be thin. But you're right, the schedule is looking pretty good for them. So I could see now how they could go 8-4 because of that.
Yeah.
All right, we're a quarter of the way through. Let's get into the next part here, the kind of the mid pack of the Mountain West.
Yeah.
Hawaii.
Okay, so with Hawaii, they did lose their QB from last year, which is not very good. But they still have 6 returning starters on offense and 9 on defense, which is really good because most teams aren't experienced. Well, this team is very experienced. And then their running back is like he's like one of the running backs who they I think should do really well this year, even though he doesn't have the best of experience. Well, and then their receivers, they got a good receiver from Stanford, and also they got some good returning starters at wide receiver, which I think will help them. And then they have okay linebackers, but they have a pretty decent defense because it's pretty experienced together. And then they have a pretty good coach who's been there for a few years, so I think they should do pretty well. They do have a few hard games, like they play their 4 starting games are pretty easy, but then they play I think I gave them a loss to Colorado State and UNLV, and then San Jose State, and then the other team. And I think that they could do better or worse. It just depends on how they play. But I think they should do really well.
Well, and I think especially in a conference where so many players get lost to the P4 schools, to be able to return 15 starters and
it's really good.
It's the most in the Mountain West. So I think that makes a big difference. And their defense really did a good job. So that offense can do well too. Absolutely. And yeah, that non-conference schedule, Stanford again, playing a lot of Mountain West teams this year.
Arizona, they have that win.
Yeah, they could win that.
Portland and Sam Houston, they don't stand a chance.
Yeah, those should be the 2 guaranteed wins for Hawaii, and then they've got a lot of other good home games, and the road schedule is not too bad. Going to Colorado State, the San Jose State game should be probably their toughest game. But,
UNLV, I think they'll probably lose, but they could win.
Yeah, that one's kind of a toss-up. All right, how about the Bulldogs of Fresno State?
So, for the Bulldogs, they have a decent QB who played pretty well at Temple and Rice the last 2 years. They're kind of lower schools, but he did get some pretty good throwing yards, like 5,000 something in the past 2 years, which is pretty good for QBs. And then they have okay returning starters for the Mountain West. It's pretty good. They have 5 on offense and 4 on defense. Their running back is he's decent. Last year was his freshman year, so he probably didn't get a lot of runs. He was the second best, but he didn't get a lot. And then they do have some pretty good wide receivers with they got a Purdue transfer, but he was a redshirt, but they should do pretty well. I think their offensive linemen and defense is also pretty good. They have I think where their losses come is Oregon State, Hawaii, Colorado State, Boise State, and San Jose State, and then I think Kansas maybe. They do have a really hard schedule on the conference because they have like all of the top teams that I have. So that should be challenging for them. So I think most of their losses come from the
The
what's it?
conference.
Yeah, the conference. But I
Yeah,
think they will do well. Like they'll probably get a bowl game.
yeah, they didn't catch many breaks in the schedule, that's for sure. To get all those tough teams within the conference, and honestly, at Kansas, that's a tough opening game.
Yeah.
That one's actually just about a week away, is all. So that's one of
Yeah.
those opening weekend ones. And Oregon State on the road's always a tough one too. So
Yeah.
they kind of got that harder schedule. So,
Definitely.
all right, let's go to the next one.
Okay, so my next team is San Diego, and I think they'll be okay. Their QB didn't really play last year because he was injured, so he doesn't really have any stats, but they say he should do pretty well. I think, and then the running back is also isn't the best of running backs because he doesn't have a lot of yards yet, but I think he still will do decent. And then their receivers are okay. They have one. Their number one is pretty good, and then the next few are okay. They aren't the best. And then their schedule, their opening game is pretty easy, but then I think they have a loss to Washington State, and then they also have a loss to what's it called? They also have a loss to California, and then they also have a pretty hard schedule for the Mountain West, and I think what their problem is their offense isn't the best, but their defense, they have the most returning starters for defense with 10, which is really helpful. And then on offense they have 4. But yeah, I think that they just don't have enough offense to win games, but they should do pretty well though.
Especially when they have that stretch. I was looking at the schedule, and they play at Fresno State versus Wyoming, at Hawaii versus Boise State versus San Jose State. That stretch, 1, 2, 3, is that 5? Yeah, 5 straight really tough games all around. That's brutal.
Wyoming, they might win, but other than that, it's going to be hard.
All right, well, we got to be honest about this. What's your favorite college football team?
The Aggies.
Yeah, the Utah State Aggies. So I'm actually surprised that you didn't let your heart put Utah State higher. You got them at 5 and 7. Why don't you walk me through
my mom would put them at number 1 no matter what.
Yes, she would.
I can't just be biased for my team. I did kind of give them a little advantage, but I tried not to that much.
No, that's good. So you probably know the most about this team of anybody that I know. So yeah, tell us about Utah State. Maybe not going to make a bowl this year, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if they will because they only have 2 returning starters on offense and 6 on defense, which is kind of their problem. But their first game, their opener is, I think they'll win that game against UTEP. They aren't that hard of a team, but then they play Texas A&M at Texas in Texas, so I don't think that will be good. And then Air Force, I think they'll win against Air Force because they don't have great passing. And then Vanderbilt, I think it's going to be a hard game, but I don't know if they'll win it. So I think that's where another loss comes. And then Hawaii and San Diego State on the 2 first conference games is also really tough. I think they will beat New Mexico and Nevada, though. Those 2 teams are not the best. And then UNLV, Fresno State, and Boise State are all really hard games.
Yeah, especially to have UNLV and Fresno State on the road.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. So I think they will only win 3 games in the conference. But I really like their QB. He's really good at running and pretty good thrower. He was the number 2 rusher last year, and he hardly even played that much.
Well, and the fact that he's a returning quarterback in the Mountain West, there aren't many. Like we've
He's
talked about,
good,
I think
yeah.
only 2 or 3 teams get their returning. A guy that's played a lot of games. He's been around for, it feels like 10 years.
I don't know how long he's been playing. I know he started out at like Utah or something, but
Yeah,
the one problem we have, he's like everybody else is new pretty much. The only other returning starter on offense we have is Brock Lane at tight end. He's really good. But other than that, it's all new receivers, all new that, which will be really tough. And then
especially the offensive line.
yeah, definitely, because it's all new guys. They lose everybody to
So
everywhere.
hard.
It's so sad. And then on defense, they have Ike Larson, who's really good. But other than that, it's like pretty good, but not the best because there's a lot of like half of the defense is new. And then they have a new coach. He turned New Mexico around last year. He made them really well. So that could happen with Utah State too. So that's what I'm hoping will happen. But I don't know. But yeah, it should. I don't know if they'll get a bowl game, but they should do okay.
Yeah, I mean, I look at Bryson Barnes, and here's a guy that went on the road to USC and got a win back when he was with Utah.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the one. I actually wanted to rate Utah State higher as well, because of that. Because I look at, hey, if you got this veteran quarterback, manning the offense, even if it is a lot of transfers, and then you have a guy like Ike Larson in the defense, where, in my opinion, he's one of the best returning defenders in the Mountain West.
Yeah.
You should be okay, but man,
Tough
I thought,
schedule.
between Fresno State and Utah State, I actually think Utah State might have the toughest schedule in all of the Mountain West because they're playing 2 SEC teams.
Yeah, that's
Vanderbilt's at the bottom of the SEC, but they're still good, right?
still good. And like last year, everybody thought they were going to suck. They beat Alabama. They
Yeah.
beat some really good teams. But
I mean, their quarterback at Vanderbilt, I was looking at an article where he's talking about how he thinks they have a chance to make it to the college football playoff.
oh, really?
So Vanderbilt's going to be tough. And then that ending stretch where they play at UNLV, at Fresno State, and Boise State.
It's really tough.
So wish we could give them more love.
Yeah.
All right. We got 4 to go. Let's go to Air Force.
Okay, so Air Force, most people think they might do good, but what I learned, they only are good at rushing. Their passing is not good at all. Like I looked at him, and last year their QB last year he was a new guy. Like he didn't play that much. He was the back. He was not even playing, but even their starting QB only got like 450 throwing yards, which is really low for a starting QB. I think it's like the lowest because they only do running. And if their running fails, they can't, they have no offense whatsoever. So, and what I learned, the teams that they're playing have pretty good defense. So if their defensive linemen and the linebackers can get the running backs, they don't have an offense, which I think really hurts the team because they can't get a lot of wide receivers that are good because they're all run pretty much. So that is why that's why I put them really low, because I think just because they don't have any other offense really, really doesn't help. And then their games are kind of tough too, because their first game is pretty easy, Utah State, and then they play Utah, Boise, Hawaii, Navy, and UNLV in a row. And those are all really hard teams, especially Navy, because and Boise State, they have really good offense and defenses, which is going to be bad for Air Force. And then they play Wyoming, which I think they will win. But then they play Army, San Jose, Connecticut, New Mexico, and Colorado State, which I think already gives them another 3 losses.
Yeah, that's a tough stretch as well.
So it will be tough. They 5-7, they could go that good. It's either going to be that good, maybe a bit better, or really bad. So it just depends on if their running game works, then they'll be pretty good. But if their running game fails, they'll be really bad.
Well, and that's one positive. I mean, their offense was probably as bad as it's been in a decade last year.
Yeah.
But they've got a lot of guys coming back, especially at the offensive line, which is where they really struggled. So, yeah, if they can start blocking better, I could see that 5-7 happen for sure.
Mm-hmm. But it all just depends on if their running game works or not.
Yeah, you're right. They live and die by the run. They're a lot like the other military schools where they kind of have that run option offense and they rely on that. But I think you brought up a great point where, at Army and Navy, what separates them is that if the other team's able to stop their run, they have the ability to pass the ball. But Air Force really didn't, at least not last year.
Yeah, and it doesn't look any better.
Yep, totally agree. All right. I'm sure Wyoming fans were hoping for a better expectation than 3-9. Let's talk about Wyoming.
Okay, so let me find some. Okay, so their QB is pretty decent, I guess, but yeah, he's pretty good thrower, but not the best. And I know he is returning from last year. And they do have a lot of returning offense, but they have almost only 3 returning defense, which hurts them. And then their running back is decent, but he's only had experience in Northern Texas and lower teams with easier schedules, so that could not be the best because he's going higher. And then all of their receivers they're decent. They've gotten last season 300, 400, that much. And then offensive line that they have they have a lot of returning offensive line, which helps a lot. But on their defense, they don't really have a lot of returning starters, and which isn't good because last season they were okay on defense, but this year with all the new guys, it could be worse. And then their schedule, they play Akron and Northern Iowa, which won't be hard. But then they play Utah and Colorado, which could both be potential losses there. And then they go UNLV, San Jose, Air Force, Colorado, and San Diego. And 3 or 4 of those teams could be losses. And then the last 3 games, Fresno State could be a loss, but then they play Nevada, which is easy, and then Hawaii, which I don't know if they will win that. But their schedule is kind of tough, which is why I'm giving them a few losses because it's pretty tough. I think they'll only win to Nevada, maybe Air Force.
Yeah, that's a great point. I look at that, and we've seen several tough stretches of schedules so far, but this one: Utah, Colorado, UNLV, San Jose State, Air Force, Colorado State, and then you go on the road with San Diego State and Fresno. I mean,
it's tough.
That's how a team can spiral, and the whole season just kind of falls apart. So
definitely.
All right, New Mexico. So that's where they lost their coach to Utah State.
Yeah.
And then they seem to lose just about every player after that. So Tell us about New Mexico.
Okay, so they have 7 total returning starters, 3 on offense, 4 on defense. So they lost their QB to Utah, and their QB was really good, which is really bad for them. So they got a decent QB from Idaho, which means he could be okay, but he has practice against Division II or the easier teams.
Yes, yeah.
So that could be why, but he still could do pretty well. They have a pretty good running back from last year with like 1,500 yards almost. But he played for Montana State, which could mean that like they have not as hard defense as the Division One, which also could be tough for him. And then their wide receivers, their number one is from another like Division 3 or 4 team, and then they have one from Kansas State and Illinois, which they should be okay. But then their offensive line is, I think they have like 2 returning guys, but they still have they don't have a lot of returning guys, which is tough. And then on defense, it's okay, but I don't know if it will be like super good, which is also pretty tough. And then they played Michigan at their season opener, which is not going to be good. Then they play Idaho State. I think they can win that game. But then they play UCLA, and then they have a break. And then they have New Mexico, San Jose, Boise, Nevada, Utah State, and UNLV all in a row, which is like 6 games. And I think they're only capable of beating Nevada, maybe New Mexico State right there, which isn't good because they play Boise at Boise, at San Jose, and at UNLV. They're already like the hardest games there. And if it's at there, they don't really stand a chance. They might beat Utah State, but I don't think they will. And then they play Colorado, Air Force, and San Diego, which I don't think they'll win either. So
that is tough.
It's pretty tough, yeah.
Wow. No, that makes a lot of sense. You know, something I just looked up because I couldn't remember, but their new offensive coordinator, so their previous offensive coordinator, Jason Beck, he went to Utah, but their new offensive coordinator came over from Idaho. And so that is a good thing for them. At least they have that continuity of having the quarterback that was at Idaho previously, Jack Lane. So at least they have that. They also were able to bring over
a few other guys.
Receiver, I think, from Idaho. Yeah. And so they do have some of that going for them, and I think that could help. But again, like you said, the schedule, it's tough.
The schedule is tough, yeah.
All right. The final team, Nevada.
Okay. So with Nevada, so they have 4 offensive returning starters and only 2 on defense, which isn't very good. And their QB, so last year he was there, but he didn't have a lot of playing time.
I think he was hurt, right? Was that Chuba Purdy? Yeah.
So he didn't do a lot there yet. And then they have a decent running back. He only got like 100 yards last year, but he's okay. And then they have a few wide receivers. Some of them look decent, but so they have one. Their number one looks pretty good, like 600 yards. That's pretty good. And then they're like 2 and 3 only have like 100 yards in the pass, which isn't good. And then their offensive line also, I think it has some returning starters, but they still have a few new guys, which usually isn't that good. And then on defense, they don't really have a lot of returning guys.
Yeah.
Almost no experience. And on defense, I just don't think they can really do much. They can, but even the recruits don't look amazing because, like, it's Nevada, and they don't have, like, the best of teams. And then they play Penn State, which is a really hard season opener. Yeah. And then Sacramento State, Middle Tennessee, and Western Kentucky. I think they could maybe win Sacramento State or Middle Tennessee, which is where their win come from.
One of those. Mm-hmm.
But then they play Fresno State, San Diego State, New Mexico, and Boise State all in a row, which
is tough.
And I might have said they went to New Mexico, but it's away. It's in New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Also really tough. And then they play Utah State, San Jose, Wyoming, and UNLV. And again, playing Utah State could be a win or Wyoming, but they're both away, which all their easier games are away, which is really bad because it's hard to win at like away at Wyoming.
Oh, Wyoming in November?
Yeah,
No thanks.
and Utah in November.
Yeah.
They're used to like hot weather. That's not very good. So yeah, I think they will only win one game, which is it's kind of gamble, but I think it will probably happen because last year they went 3-10, and then they lost a bunch of people, which is not good.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at even Sacramento State, that team, they're preparing to try to get into the FBS, so they're going to be one of the better
Better
FCS
teams,
teams.
which
So
is why they could lose to that team, especially. But it's not a way. It's a home game, which could help, but it just depends.
no, hey, that is a really good breakdown. So here's what I've got, really similar to what you had as well. We've talked about these teams, Boise State, San Jose State, Hawaii, UNLV. We're about the same on all of those. In fact, I'll kind of put these together here, showing both of ours. We were pretty similar in our top, and we didn't share these until today. So it's kind of fun to see. I'm a little bit higher on Wyoming.
Yeah, and I'm a little higher on Colorado State.
Yeah. So I guess I'll just say the reason that I'm a little higher on Wyoming and why I'm a little lower on Colorado State. I mean, for Wyoming, I just think I like a lot of their matchups. They've got Northern Iowa, Akron. I think they should win both of those.
Yeah.
I think they and then they've got Nevada. So I see 3 wins there. They should win all 3 of those, and then maybe pull off one against maybe San Diego State.
Yeah.
Maybe Colorado State. So, and I like how they're getting the 9 starters back, especially on the offensive line. Like you talked about, they've got a good offensive line coming back. I don't know. After talking to you, I kind of feel more like they're probably going to go 4-8 rather than 5-7. But I'll stick to my 5-7 for now. So we're pretty close on Fresno State, Colorado State. So yeah, I'm a lot lower on Colorado State than you are.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's just a lot to do with losing so many starters on that defense. They lost their top 2 tacklers. They did bring in some pretty good transfers.
Yeah, and again, they have a really good QB, which is good.
To have a 2-year starter, what's his name, Braden Fowler Nicolosi, I think.
Yeah.
He's solid, and that is something to be said in a conference that doesn't have many returning quarterbacks.
Everybody.
So, yeah, again, you've convinced me a little bit. Maybe Colorado State I should have had a little bit higher. So, but again, I'll stick with it, and we'll see how this goes. But, yeah, our San Diego State's about the same. Utah State about the same. I think we agree it's kind of that schedule is just really tough.
Definitely.
So, yeah, other than that, it's about the same. Nevada, I gave them one more win. And I think the same reason as you, like you were kind of talking about, well, maybe they can get two wins against one of Sacramento State, Middle Tennessee, or Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
Maybe San Diego State, but
maybe, yeah.
Other than that, they just have a tough schedule, and I feel sorry for them. It's a rough year.
They're never that good. Like the past few seasons, they did good in COVID year and in 2021. But past that, their best schedule was 3-10.
Well, and you can tell, I think, location, not that the all Mountain West teams have amazing locations, but Reno, Nevada just never does seem to be the place. Yeah. And even looking in the transfer portal at the guys they did bring in, so many are coming from FCS teams or kind of the lower level teams. They weren't able to get many of these guys that were at like the bigger schools and the Power 4 schools that were looking for, more playing opportunity. And so instead they had to get these guys that were hoping to, take the step up from FCS and Division.
Couldn't get a lot of good scholarships.
Yeah, that's tough.
It is.
So there it is. That's our 2025 preseason rankings. Next time that we do a show, we're going to talk about the Big 12. We're going to go through our preseason rankings of the Big 12, and then throughout the season, we'll have shows where we give our predictions for the upcoming games. So it'll be a lot of fun. Jameson, this was awesome.
Yeah.
talking with you, and thanks for taking the time to do this podcast. I think especially for other kids, to be able to see that, hey, you know what, just because you're a kid doesn't mean you don't know, your football. And so it's awesome that you're willing to do this and share your knowledge with us.
Yeah. And
All
thanks
right.
for being with me.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's probably my favorite part, is that the two of us get to hang out every now and then and do this. So
Yeah.
okay, that's going to do it for us. Be sure to watch for our next episode, and we'll be dropping that here pretty soon. We're just glad football's back, almost here.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you later.